There's nothing, stopping me from repatriating, to the motherland.
Yeah.
I took care of everything. I sold my old house. The house that I lived in, it will be 100 years old next year.
Ooh.
So what I did, I remodeled the house myself and I sold it. I sold it for half the market value because I was ready to go.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Clevy Joe. As usual, we are in the diaspora transition. Today we have our father with us living in Asebu, Congolo, and we are here for him to share his experience with us too as well. So father, can you just tell us the journey or maybe your transition from America to Ghana?
Yep, my Ghana name is Mr. Kojo
Yeah,
Kangol,
right.
Monday born.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what most Ghanaians call me now. My diasporan name is Navigate More Freely. And I've been here in Ghana I arrived November the 2nd of 2019, the year of return.
Ooh.
Nana Adonko Akufo-Addo
Yes.
said 2019 is the year of return, so I returned.
Yeah. Indeed, you did.
Yes, Nana Adonko Akufo-Addo said I can stay here in Ghana,
Yeah.
so I'm staying.
So, well, after coming to Ghana for the first time, were you able to move back to America to make things right before you come back again?
That was not necessary because I had already done my research, and I've been wanting to come to the motherland for decades, and so when I did decide, that there's nothing, stopping me from repatriating, to the motherland,
Yeah.
I took care of everything. I sold my old house. The house that I lived in, it will be 100 years old next year.
Ooh.
So what I did, I remodeled the house myself and I sold it. I sold it for half the market value because I was ready to go.
Right. So, was it a gamble selling your house from America coming to Ghana?
I didn't feel like it was a gamble because half the market value, made it that I stayed in that house for decades for free.
Well, okay.
And only thing I needed, when it comes to Ghana, is enough. Enough. I said all I need is enough to get me another house.
Well,
I wasn't trying to stay there and be greedy and squeeze everything out of there. It was time to go. So after 2 months of being here in Ghana, that's when COVID-19 hit the world.
yeah.
So I was glad I was gone.
Well, diasporas are saying that America or maybe Europe is being difficult to be there, or maybe for you to stay there. They think Ghana is more cheaper than America or maybe Europe and so forth. You being an American and also coming to the motherland to feel the motherland, comparing these 2, which one is better?
Well, that's a subjective term. For me, this is more ideal because the weather is better here. So there's only 2 seasons here in Ghana. That's summer and spring.
Right.
Whereas where I lived in the USA was Nebraska, we had 4 seasons: summer, spring, winter, and fall. So I like summer and spring. So the weather is better. The air is fresher. I've been here for 4 years and I've never seen a chemtrail in the sky as yet.
17% of respondents back in 2011 in an international survey said they believed the existence of a secret large-scale atmospheric spraying program to be true or partly true. 17%, that is literally millions and millions of Americans believing that it exists.
And, so as far as cost effectiveness, it's cost effective, especially if you're getting paid in dollars or pounds or other Western currency.
Yeah.
Because Ghana is not a superpower. Ghana is a third world country, so Ghana's resources and economy is totally controlled by the West.
Well, the indigenous Ghanaians are trying to move to America. Americans are also trying to move to Africa to stay. Comparing this to transition, I want to understand something. Americans are saying Ghana is cheaper. Ghanaians are also saying that America is cheaper. So which one?
Ghanaians are not saying America is cheaper because it's not. It's not. It's definitely not cheaper. But I understand the psychology. There's method to this madness.
Yeah.
You see, like I said before, come to Ghana, it being paid in dollars, is very cost effective. Right now, $1 US will get you almost 16 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
And labor costs are less, even skilled labor. And food, is less because of the nature, and the food could be better because because Ghanaians, it's difficult to poison them because they grow what they eat. They eat what they grow, and they like it.
Right.
so that's one thing. And as far as Ghanaians that go into the USA, it's logical. They go to the USA to accumulate dollars, but they're smart enough to spend those dollars in Ghana. They go get the dollars there, send them here, which is very smart.
Right.
Most every country in on the continent of Africa, the indigenous people, they go to the USA or to the UK, the West, to accumulate resources and send them here, because you get more for your resources if you spend them here. If you spend them in the USA, you'll be struggling. It's difficult. Everything is much more expensive there.
Right. So tell me, you living in Ghana for the past 4 years, over 4 years now. How is the experience, and how was the experience?
Well, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I like it here, because like I said, the weather is better, the food is healthier, the people are very nice. I like the people. The people, in the hood in the USA, it could be quite dangerous, and Ghana is not as dangerous as metropolitan areas in the USA. Because take Chicago for instance. Black men are shooting black men on a daily basis, and black women, they're just as dangerous. Here in Ghana, you don't have to watch your back as much. As you don't have to watch your back. People here, you can get 10,000, Ghanaians in one area, and nobody acts crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody spoils the party.
Right.
You can only get 50 Black Americans in an area, and somebody gonna do something stupid.
Right.
So I find this place a whole lot better. See, in the USA, if you approach someone, as a black man, and I go talk to a black woman, often than not, you might get the words, "Nigga, please." Whereas here in Ghana, if you talk to a lady, she'll say, "Yes, please."
Yeah.
I like "yes, please"
Right.
a whole lot better than I like "nigga, please." I find it, more sensible and more relaxing and more pleasant, to be dealing with Ghanaians than plenty of Black Americans. Now, don't get me wrong, there's cool Black Americans too.
Right.
But there's a whole lot that's not that cool.
Well, that is your experience. So.
And,
that is why you're here to share your experience with us.
And here in Ghana, I don't see those extremes.
Yeah.
So in the USA, you gotta get in. You gotta find people, that's conducive to your sensibilities, and because there's plenty that are not.
Well, how did you establish yourself in Ghana?
Well, like I said, I sold my house, and I reached the age of 62, so that means I can get early Social Security, and I concluded that would be enough to make the transition. So I sold everything and took care of all of my business in the USA, because I was not planning on coming back no time soon, because a round trip ticket to the USA is at least $1,500
at a time.
at this time too.
Oh, okay.
It's plenty. $1,500 times 15.6 or 7. That's a lot
That's a
of
lot of
Ghana
money.
CD.
A lot.
So
A lot.
I rather spend that money on building. So I took care of everything, and I came here, and you landed in Accra, and I lived in Accra for a year. I had it took about 6 to 8 months there, to acquire this land, and I was going back and forth from Accra to Central Region, and and then I got a place to live in Central Region, and I let the one in Accra go, and then I moved onto my plots that I acquired.
So in your own way, how much did you bring to Ghana to establish yourself?
Well, when I came to Ghana, what did I have? I had about 70,000 US dollars in my account, and with the monthly stipend, on my Social Security. That was it. Now my bank account is finished.
Well, it's not finished. At least you've had so many assets over here. So
Well, yeah, I've been building, and the 70,000 is finished, and now I just live. I have a what you call that? A set amount of money that I can manage and deal with per month. I'm on a limited income.
so have you per chance established any business that can generate more income for you?
Not as yet. Not as yet. For the past 4 years, all I do is spend, spend, spend. So I'm a net asset,
Right.
to Ghana, because I haven't been pulling any money out of Ghana. I've just been putting it in. So that makes me a net asset, which makes me feel good. Eventually, I will establish something that'll make me some CDs. But fortunately, here in Ghana, you don't have to make a lot of CDs, to live.
Right.
You just got to just make something, and that'll be great. The cost of living is less. It all depends on how you like to live, though. Because people in the USA, they paying $8,000 a month, just to rent one apartment, for 30 days.
Right.
And that kind of money, here in Ghana, you'll be
Too much. If you earn those money in a month, you're gonna be a millionaire in Ghana.
Yes, but they don't know that. And they rather spend all of their money, in the USA, and don't have nothing that belongs to them, because that apartment that you're leasing for 30 days, it's not yours. And if your money, has some way, disappear, then you will have to disappear from that premise. So here, I have 5 times as much land, and I have 4 structures, with roofs on them.
Wow.
So and it's growing, slowly but surely, because I'm not rich, but you can do more here with a little than you can in the USA. Not that I couldn't live in the USA, I could have stayed there as well, and managed that one too, with what I had,
Yeah.
because my home was paid for, and I was saving $1,000 a month, but I didn't want to be there anymore.
Right. Well, you came to Asebu Pan African Village, mingling with the locals over here. How were you able to cope with their culture and also their languages and even their attitude?
Well, the attitudes here is like I told you, is wonderful. Ghanaians have a much better attitude than plenty of Black Americans. The attitude here is, by and by and large, is, it's acceptable and palatable. And what was the rest of the question?
Well, your languages, their
Oh, the
languages.
languages.
Yeah.
Well, I've always liked, African languages. When I was in grade school, like 7th or 8th grade, I had a teacher that was teaching us some Swahili, so that was very interesting,
Yeah.
Jambo, si jambo,
Yeah.
so that was, and then, when when I went to college, I had a Zulu class, Sawubona, yebo, Sawubona. And I love that, and I even taught my daughter a little bit of Zulu. Gitanda ubaba.
Mm-hmm.
That means I love you,
Yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice. I was enjoying it, and in the USA, I met plenty of native Africans coming to the USA. People from all over. Coming from Togo, and my Togolese friends, they gave me, the name Kangolo.
Yeah.
So I told you my Ghanaian name is Mr. Kojo Kangolo.
So it's combination of Ghana
Yes.
and Togo.
Yeah, well, Kangolo is not a Togolese name, but that's the name, they helped me establish. So Kangolo is like 35 years old. Kangolo is not a little boy anymore. Now, Kojo, he's only like 4 years old. But Kangolo, I had that name in the USA.
It's an old name.
Yes, and they taught me a little bit of Mina. That's one of their languages is Mina. I can't remember any of the Mina right now. And I had African friends from Sudan, Togo, African friends from, different places.
So apart from Ghana, have you by chance visited any African country so far?
No. I haven't been to any other African countries as yet. But I hope to visit some because there's plenty of places I would love to go. My number one ideal place before I came was South Sudan. South Sudan. I find South Sudan very intriguing. I like it.
What was the inspiration behind that?
The people, and the people of the South Sudanese that I met in the USA, they was much younger than I was, but they were really, really terrific people. And my Taekwondo instructor was half my age in the USA. And now they are. That's been years ago, so now they have children that's reaching adult age now.
Mm-hmm.
So South Sudan was very interesting, but I didn't go there because at the time I thought it wouldn't be safe, as far as wars is concerned. So Ghana was the next best choice, which is pretty good.
Well, in Africa, we are just trying to change the dynamics. That is why we, the YouTubers, are also trying to change things. This kind of civil war, tribal war, whatever is happening in Africa, we are doing our possible best to change all those things. That is why we are changing the narrative. We have to write our own narratives. For people that are living in the diaspora from America, Europe, UK, or whatever, they should know that Africa is no more the old Africa that they knew.
Yes.
They polluted you guys, your mindsets. You folks, they polluted your mindsets and so forth about Africa. But Africa is not as bad as they normally pollute you guys too.
That's true. And some of us, from the diaspora, we are totally aware of that. And what we do is we let the continental, the local Africans know that many of these wars that they are fighting is fomented by the West. Divide and conquer is one of the oldest tricks in their book, in their arsenal. So it was in Sudan, it was North Sudan against South Sudan. What happened was they found all that oil in South Sudan. So if Africans are killing each other, the West, just say that just make it easier for it to exploit the resources. Simple as that.
Right.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
So as soon as the continental Africans, become aware of the exploitations and try to push back on it, the better the continent will be. And and we in the diaspora, especially in the USA, we recognize, what's going on. We're sophisticated people. We've been educated. Many of us know how to think for ourselves and see the handwriting on the wall. And it would be negligent for us not to inform, our continental African brothers and sisters, what's really going on, in our opinion.
So, per what you are saying, if I'm supposed to give you a role, you being an American and also a Ghanaian now, let me label it, you are a Ghanaian, but it was because of a situation that you landed into America. Now you've known the truth. People are living in the diaspora in America and so forth. What are you going to tell them about Africa? How would you change their mindset so that they will know that Africa is a good place for them to live?
Well, I'm not going to try to change their mindset. I'm just going to tell the truth and let them, make their own decisions, because, I don't advocate, that everybody, all black Americans, of African descent leave the USA. The USA belongs to, us just as much as it belongs to anybody. We were there first. So, just because, we was exploited, don't mean we have to leave, no. The world wouldn't be safe that way. That's exactly what the imperialists would love to see all of us come into one area and then they can control us.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do with everybody right now.
Right.
Everybody, white, black, and everybody else in these small cities with electric cars and where we can't go nowhere, where they can control us.
Right.
Just like COVID, they said everybody be incarcerated in your house, so they can control us.
Yeah.
So it would be, see, right now black Americans are in the USA. They, many of them should not leave, especially the younger ones. Because if something goes down, in the continent of Africa or whatever, they're in the living room and they can break up the furniture.
Right. That's true. That's true. Well, my final two questions that I want to ask you, it's about living in Ghana.
Nice.
Yeah. Maybe it might be very difficult, but I know you pass it. It's an exam that I'm giving you. Would you mind if we change the interview language to Fanti?
My Fanti is kankran.
Kakra.
Small. So I'm trying, I'm learning,
Okay. So
this is your
I'm
test. Learning my Fanti, when I greet people at Edison, I greet them, in Fanti and they enjoy it. And and when I was in Accra, it was Ga.
Yeah.
Toyo thing. And it's Boyejupa. So, I try to pick up as much language as I can.
Yeah.
Although the Ghanaians' English is better than my Fanti or my Ga, because they teach English in the schools here. They don't teach Fanti in the schools in the USA, nor do they teach Ga. Matter of fact, it's rare that you would see any African language being taught in the USA. But, plenty of black Americans and other Americans, they have trouble speaking English. Their English is not that good either. So, but I try to pick up, the local dialect of English. That's what I tell my diasporan friends, you just can't talk to local people just like I'm talking right now, with straight, uncut English. You got to speak the dialect, the English dialect.
Well, my last two questions that I want to ask you is about some Americans have been painting Africans that Africans are not trustworthy, Africans are this, Africans are that. Sometimes too, they bring their American life to Ghana. Always, I keep telling my people that are watching me out there that if you are from America coming to Ghana, the first thing you need to pack is your patience. So, as you were coming to Ghana, what was the first thing that you were considering before coming to Ghana?
Consuming culture, because when you come from the USA, if you're not orientated, to consume culture, you're going to suffer from cultural shock, because you're not going to find everything here in Ghana like it is in the USA. So if USA is your ideal and you cannot adjust, to a different cultural setting, you're going to have some difficulties. And many diasporans come here, and say, we don't do it that way. I want this done just like they do in the USA. They stuck on it. They can't, as far as change is concerned, they can't change. They have certain expectations, and if their expectations aren't met from what they used to, they're miserable. But cultural change, some things cultural, I don't just incorporate into my life, but plenty of stuff that's cultural, here in the continent is good to consume. So it all depends on having enough courage to consume culture and understand culture, adjust to culture, because I'm not in the USA, so I have to conform. Even in the USA, you have to conform. You don't have the freedom to do anything you want to do or act any way you want to act, without consequences. So here in Ghana, it's much more pleasant because Ghanaians, they get along. You got Muslims, Christians, all kinds of people, living in the same community, and they all get along. Nobody is putting anybody down or attacking anyone, and so it's peaceful.
So my last question, since you are living in a Fanti community, at least you might have tasted Fanti food. We have various kinds of food, the Ewe food, the Fantis, the Hausa, the Gao, the Grusi, and so forth.
That means yes.
Yeah.
So the food is, some of it is an acquired taste if you're from the West. Because us diasporans from the USA, we have sophisticated taste buds. That means, we go to Walmart and get anything we want.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the super duper market, and it's everything, anything, everything.
Mm-hmm.
You just get what you want. If you got the resources, the funds, you can buy anything you want. It's right there at your fingertips. We're here in Ghana, especially around here, when you go, you only have a market. The market day is on Saturdays here. And when you go to the market, everybody, a lot of people are selling the same thing.
Right.
Everybody is selling the same thing because everybody eats the same thing, and you don't have processed food here. You have everything fresh, organic, straight out of the garden. Plantain, tomatoes, garlic, onions, sweet potatoes, corn, all kinds of stuff. Okra, and you have all kinds of stuff that's grown at the market, and half the people are selling the same thing,
right.
Because the Ghanaian have a cultural cuisine. So, it takes it's an acquired taste, to get used to the cultural cuisine. And if you want to go back to the diasporan cuisine, you have to go to a supermarket that will help you accommodate that, and there's not that many around here. So you have to travel a little bit distance, and then when you get to the supermarket, you might not find everything you want anyway.
Right. So
it's an adjustment. It's a cultural adjustment to the cuisine, and I like okra stew and bunku.
Mm-hmm.
So I had somebody prepared bunku for me, and I'm going to go to the market today and buy a bunch of okra, and I'm going to try to prepare it myself this time.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
basically, let me come in. I'm not trying to be a biased person, but okra stew and banku is basically for Ewes.
Well, I don't know
Ewes are the best in that. That is the best food.
Well, I don't know. I don't know Ewes. I would know Ewe from a Fanti. They're all the same to me in a God.
Right. So we all Ghanaians.
Yes, I would not know. Because even in Accra, in the Ga community, they were eating the same thing they eat in the Fanti community.
Yeah. Ga likes kinky.
Yes, yeah. I like Ga kinky better than I do Fanti kinky.
Yeah.
Fanti kinky, nah. But Ga kinky, oh yes. Dapon. Dapon, that's what you say. Yeah. That's the name of kinky, in Fanti. Dapon, sukwe. I chop Dapon, sukwe.
Yeah.
Chop means eat.
Yeah.
So you have to speak the local English dialect, for to be understood.
Yeah.
And I like to be understood. You know, communication is a little bit of a challenge. You know, but the Ghanaians' English is a whole lot better than our Fanti.
Well, your final words. Your final words for people that are watching you on YouTube.
Well, I would say, you know, Nana Adonko Akufo-Addo, the current president of Ghana, he once said that Ghana is not a paradise. But what he forgot to say, that it could be. Everything here to transform this place into a paradise. And some areas here are paradise. You know, this is a third world country, so therefore the infrastructure is not as built up as it would be in the USA, but there's infrastructure being built. And it's, you know, there's very nice places here. I have half an acre of land, which is 5 times more than I had in the USA.
Yeah.
And everything, you know, is developing, you know. So I recommend that the retirees, you know, like around my age, come to Ghana and build. You know, build for the future for those who stay in the USA on that line, because if if challenges come, it's going to be the young men, you know, and the young women, you know, that fights the physical battles.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as old folks. You know, we're going to, you know, put in the intellectual properties, you know, and let people know what's going on, and funnel our resources, you know, into the right areas. So when everything is settled, you know, there's some place for them to come.
Right.
You know, I want to build a legacy project here where family and friends, you know, when their time comes, they can come, you know, with no struggle, no problems. You know, but right now in the USA, the borders are wide open. Millions upon millions of military age men and women are pouring into the USA, and they're pouring into the USA for a reason.
Right.
They're not pouring in the excuses. They want to come, you know, to the USA for a better life. Nobody's going to have a better life, you know, with that many people pouring into the USA.
Right.
They're not going to have a better life, and the citizens is already there is not going to either. But that's not the reason why they're really being poured in the USA. They've been poured in there, you know, because they're gonna. It's an army, you know. So, you know, Kamala Harris is the border czar, but she's recruiting her army. That's why the border is wide open for her army to just to pour right on in, you know. And so, Black Americans, white Americans, everybody that's citizens, if they take your guns, you're in big trouble. See, Ghana here, you know, is not a threat to no one. So therefore, I figure, you know, that the powers will leave us alone because we're not a threat.
Right.
You know, they said we'll take care of them once we get, you know, handle the threat.
Mm-hmm.
so that's the way I see it. I see the world is going through some changes right now, and
Okay.
and all those gangsters in those big cities in the USA, you better lock and load, you know, because you might need to,
Yeah.
you know, show how hard you really is. You know, you hard against each other.
Right.
Are you going to be hard against the threat? That's the question.
That is it. So, guys, as you are watching, this is Clever Joe TV. You need to subscribe to our channel. Just keep following us, share our videos to each and everybody in the diaspora or maybe all over the world, you know, and keep liking our videos too. Bye bye.